Imagine holding a promissory note, promising you millions, a single slip of paper that could change your life overnight. And imagine it's signed by one of the richest men in the world, a name everyone recognizes and trusts. Would you believe it? Many did. So many, in fact, that it sparked a frenzy among the elite. This is the story of Cassie Chadwick, a woman who convinced powerful bankers and businessmen she was Andrew Carnegie's secret daughter, hidden from the world. Her claim was pure fiction, but it made her one of the wealthiest women in America, at least on paper, and for a time, in the eyes of society. Cassie never had the money, just the promise of it. Her fortune was a mirage, built on trust and deception. She used Carnegie's name and reputation to her advantage, weaving his legacy into her own elaborate scheme. People wanted to believe in a hidden heiress. It was a tale too good to resist, a secret that made them feel special to know. Her story played into the Gilded Age's obsession with wealth, status, and scandal, an era when fortunes were made and lost overnight. Cassie's fortune was built on a single, audacious lie, a forged note that set off a chain reaction across the country. She borrowed what would be over $100 million today, with no real collateral, just her word and a forged signature. Her only asset was her story, and her unshakable confidence, which she wore like armor. She looked people in the eye and sold them a fantasy, making them believe they were part of something extraordinary. Bankers and lawyers handed over vast sums, thinking they were securing favor with Carnegie's heir, eager to be close to unimaginable wealth. This wasn't a simple trick. It was psychological manipulation at its finest, a masterclass in exploiting human nature and ambition. Cassie understood that the appearance of wealth can create real wealth, and she played the part flawlessly. She dressed, lived, and spoke the part, fooling even the most experienced financiers and socialites of her day. The very people who should have known better fell for her act, blinded by their own greed and the promise of easy riches. Cassie Chadwick's nerve and cunning brought the financial institutions of a major city to their knees, leaving chaos in her wake. This is how one woman's lie fooled a nation, and how a single note became the symbol of an era's wildest dreams and its greatest deceptions. Before she was known to the world as Cassie Chadwick, she was simply Elizabeth Bigley, growing up in the quiet countryside of Ontario, Canada. Her family struggled with poverty, and from a young age, Elizabeth was haunted by dreams of a life she could only imagine, one filled with luxury and admiration. She was a gifted storyteller, always spinning tales and slipping into new identities, captivating those around her with her imagination. Her first brush with crime came early. She forged signatures and was eventually arrested, but managed to avoid jail by pleading insanity, a bold move for a young woman. This early taste of success taught her a crucial lesson. With enough confidence, even the wildest lies could sound like the truth. After her troubles in Canada, Elizabeth set her sights on a new beginning, boarding a train to Cleveland, Ohio, determined to reinvent herself. In Cleveland, she married, divorced, and continued her scams, weaving a tangled web of deceit that eventually landed her behind bars. But prison wasn't the end for Elizabeth. Instead, it became a place of reflection and planning, where she carefully mapped out her next move. Everything changed when she married Dr. Leroy Chadwick, a highly respected physician in Cleveland's elite circles. As Mrs. Cassie Chadwick, she suddenly found herself welcomed into the world of high society, surrounded by wealth and influence. This new identity was more than just a name. It was her golden ticket to the life she had always coveted. No longer a small-time criminal, Cassie was now poised to play a much bigger game. She meticulously prepared, studying her new role and plotting her next move with unwavering determination. Cassie used her newfound status to blend seamlessly into the most exclusive circles, charming the wealthy and powerful. She rehearsed her stories, perfecting every detail, ready to step onto the grandest stage of her life. With a new name, a wealthy husband, and a place among the elite, she had everything she needed for her most ambitious scheme yet. Cassie Chadwick was about to become infamous. Her transformation from a poor Canadian girl to a notorious con artist was now complete. The stage was set, and the grand deception was about to begin. With her new identity, Cassie Chadwick set her master plan in motion. She claimed to be Andrew Carnegie's illegitimate daughter. At the time, Carnegie's name meant unimaginable wealth. To make her story believable, Cassie needed proof. She staged a visit to a lawyer's office, emerging with a package of promissory notes signed by Carnegie. She made sure her companions saw the notes, just enough to spark gossip. The story spread quickly among Cleveland's elite. Cassie acted embarrassed, swearing friends to secrecy, which only fueled the rumors. She claimed Carnegie had set up a massive trust for her, and the notes were part of the arrangement. She would inherit millions upon his death. Cassie didn't just tell a story. She created a drama people wanted to believe. Her secrecy made others feel special, drawing them deeper into her web. The more exclusive the secret, the less likely anyone was to question it. Cassie's performance was flawless. The stage was set for her to start cashing in. The con was ready to go big. With her story firmly established, Cassie set her sights on Cleveland's most powerful bankers and financiers, men who controlled the city's wealth and influence. She invited them to her opulent home on Millionaire's Row, dazzling them with her extravagant surroundings and the promise of lucrative connections. Cassie would display her impressive collection of promissory notes, claiming they were gifts from Andrew Carnegie himself. She insisted she couldn't cash them until Carnegie's death, but cleverly suggested they could serve as collateral for generous loans. The prospect of high interest rates and the chance to befriend Carnegie's heiress proved irresistible to the city's financial elite. Cassie wasn't simply asking for loans, she was offering them a golden ticket into the inner circle of America's industrial royalty. Her extravagant lifestyle, lavish parties, designer clothes, and a constant air of sophistication only reinforced the illusion of immense wealth. The more she borrowed, the more lavishly she lived, and the more people believed her story, fueling a cycle of ever-increasing deception. Her social status and apparent connections made her irresistible to lenders eager to be part of her world. The illusion became reality. The more she appeared rich, the more money she attracted, and the cycle continued. Cassie had created a perfect circle of deception, where each new loan fueled her image, and her image brought in even more loans. Every transaction, every handshake, and every whispered promise added to her growing legend. Bankers believed they were making a shrewd investment, certain they were part of something extraordinary. In reality, they were being expertly manipulated, caught in a web of Cassie's making. Cassie's confidence, wit, and undeniable charm blinded them to the truth that was hiding in plain sight. She had Cleveland's elite eating out of her hand, each one eager to be part of her glamorous world. The con was working better than she could have ever dreamed, her reputation growing with every passing day. The money kept pouring in, and Cassie's legend only grew larger. Cassie's first major victim was Charles T. Beckwith, president of Citizens National Bank. Beckwith's endorsement gave her instant credibility. She used his name to convince other bankers to lend her even more. Cassie juggled loans, taking new ones to pay off old ones, a classic Ponzi scheme. As long as interest payments arrived, no one suspected a thing. Her debts soared into the millions, tens of millions in today's money. She borrowed from banks, friends, and business associates. Everyone believed her payday was just around the corner. The risks were enormous. One suspicious banker could ruin everything. Cassie managed her image and finances with relentless energy. For 8 years, she kept the scheme alive. The pressure was immense, but she thrived on the danger. Cassie was a gambler, betting everything on her ability to keep the plates spinning. Her web of lies grew ever more tangled. The mountain of debt kept rising. Cassie's lavish lifestyle was funded entirely by debt. But the cracks began to show. Bankers grew impatient, waiting for Carnegie to die and for their loans to be repaid. Some started asking for real proof. Cassie insisted on secrecy, preventing lenders from comparing notes. But rumors spread, and her spending became suspicious. The house of cards was wobbling. It would only take one person to pull it all down. The end began with Herbert S. Newton, a Boston banker. Newton's brother's business had lent Cassie a large sum. When she couldn't repay, Newton investigated. He filed a lawsuit, bringing Cassie's affairs into the public eye. Newspapers reported her massive debts and her claim to be Carnegie's heir. The news reached Andrew Carnegie himself. Carnegie, shocked, denied ever knowing Cassie and called the notes forgeries. With one statement, her entire scheme collapsed. Bankers and friends realized they'd been duped. The promissory notes were worthless. Panic swept through Cleveland's financial world. The truth was out. Cassie's empire of lies crumbled overnight. The fallout was immediate and devastating. Cassie Chadwick was arrested and put on trial in 1905. The courtroom was packed. The nation was riveted. Bankers testified about her deception and their humiliation. The Citizens National Bank of Oberlin closed its doors. Cassie never confessed, maintaining her story to the end. She was found guilty and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Her health failed, and she died in her cell 2 years later. The Queen of Deception had fallen. Cassie Chadwick's story is a lesson in human psychology and greed. Even smart bankers were blinded by the promise of wealth and status. Cassie sold them a dream, and they bought it eagerly. Her greatest weapon was her confidence, not her forgeries. The appearance of success can be more persuasive than the real thing. Her story is a classic case of financial fraud and the dangers of unchecked ambition. No one bothered to verify her claims with Carnegie. Today, the tools have changed, but the principles of the con remain. Cassie's audacity still fascinates us, a legend and a warning from the Gilded Age. If you enjoyed this story, follow our channel for more true crime deep dives.